The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, and minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber. So I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten free, and HSA, FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with promo code podcast at gruns.co. That's code podcast at gruns.co.
It's the Go Gopher podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 82. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to the podcast. Our podcast this week is a special one. We have Minnesota Golden Gopher star basketball player Mara Braun with us to talk about her busy summer, which included playing international 3-on-3 basketball in China. She has now made the international team that'll play in Mongolia next month. She got to know her new Gopher coach, the new system during summer workouts, and is also looking ahead to the Gopher team trip to Greece and Croatia coming up. Buckle in for a great conversation with Mara Braun from Wayzata on the Go Gopher Podcast, episode 82. Our Go Gopher Podcast is presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Alumni owned. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Hey, make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union is also a chief sponsor of the Go Gopher podcast. Affinity Plus is your local credit union throughout the entire state of Minnesota. You can find out more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union has one of the top-ranked mobile apps as well, so check that out. And I'm thrilled that our podcast is doing so well thanks to all the great loyal listeners like you. Because of that, we got a few new sponsors jumping on board. The Go Gopher podcast is now sponsored by Head Flyer Brewing, located in Northeast Minneapolis, right next door to campus. A great vibe, great craft beer, and much more. We're going to have a live show with them in October there. More news on that to come. If you haven't been to Head Flyer Brewing, please make it a point to do so. Another new sponsor is Caldera Lab, great skincare products for men. I'm right at that age to start worrying about aging, and the great research and top-tier ingredients to help make your face and neck area look younger and feel softer are just the ticket. And because they love the Gophers, any Go Gopher podcast listener joining me in ordering will get a 20% off discount by using the code word GOLD, G-O-L-D. Find out more at calderalab.com, and I'll talk more about their great products later this episode. And again, because of that success, and we've grown as a podcast, it's my pleasure this week to welcome another new and loyal Golden Gopher sponsor to the Go Gopher podcast. Our great friends at Cub have jumped on board. They're supporting the podcast, they're supporting the Gophers, and they continue to help make this a free podcast to listen to with no subscription cost or fees. Cub has been a longtime supporter of Gopher Sports and is the official grocer of the Golden Gophers. Again, I can't speak highly enough of Cub and their great support, and we're glad to talk about great people. Our podcast is also sponsored by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland at ChamplinInsurance.com. Tony's a big-time Gopher fan. We're podcasting episode 82 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to do so. You can go back and listen to previous Go Gopher podcasts. Last week, for example, we spoke with our great friend Spencer Tollickson on his decision to step away from his role as Gopher radio analyst on our Gopher radio broadcast. Go back and listen. This week, we still talk Golden Gopher basketball. It's episode 82. Star women's player Mara Braun joins us when we come back.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
It's episode number 82, the Go Gopher podcast. We're talking Gopher women's basketball, and star player Mara Braun is with us, entering her sophomore season as we're, I guess, a little less than a month away from classes starting. And first of all, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Have you ever been this busy in your life?
No. And it really came out of nowhere, honestly. I got the invite to the first trial, and then everything just was rolling from there. Got invited to play on the U21 team. Obviously we were still in workouts, so I left to go to that trial. And then everything worked out, and they were like, all right, we need you to hop on a plane in a month, and you're going to China. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And all at the same time getting worked into a new system, a new coaching staff with your current team, the Gophers. So how did that all weave together in terms of learning the new stuff and then learning, really, I suppose, how to play 3-on-3 basketball as well within the whole summertime?
Well, I think it was nice to be able to have Coach P come in when she did. We still had a postseason with her. So we had that there was only like 4 of us practicing, but it was still just understanding her concepts and just getting that in before everyone came, because everyone came and then I left. So it was kind of a hard time, because obviously that's a good time to get to know each other. And I came back and everyone was a lot closer, which is really cool. But at the same time, I had to find my way back in, and, everyone got a lot better too while I was gone. So that was really fun to see. But it's new every day. It's a stepping stone, definitely. But I think it'll be good for us to go over and play in Croatia, too.
Yeah, and you've got this trip coming up, which we're going to talk about, certainly, as this podcast moves on. What was your freshman year like, just in relation to coming in with some high expectations and then having some individual success? I mean, you were freshman of the year, freshman of the week a few times over the course of the year, hit some game-winning shots. But then on the flip side, maybe not having some of the team success that I'm sure you were hoping, and then having to go through a coaching change as well. What was that first season like in maroon and gold?
Quite the season. I mean, you hit it all. There was a lot of ups and downs. There's the ups of, like you said, like hitting game winners, but then at the same time, going through a season that maybe we didn't have the most success, and learning how to, fight through that and wake up every day, like still hungry, to compete. And it was definitely a test for me mentally, and just understanding the game at the college level. It's just a whole different thing. Like, you can't really explain it unless you go through it. But, I believe everything happens for a reason, and we're here, and the new staff is great, and the team's looking great so far. So it's all right now. Yeah,
I know you were asked this a couple, I guess maybe a month or so ago when you guys had an availability with all of the media here in town, and the question was posed, did you ever think about not being a Gopher after the coaching change? And you paused for a second and said, look, you don't know what the situation is. You had to find out who the coach was and how you might fit in. So take me through that I guess, what was it, about a 2.5 or 3 week stretch there to some unknowns, to then making the decision, and now kind of where you sit with that decision.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty quick turnaround. It was the day after, and they called us all in. That's when the decisions were made, and then we were kind of all left just to figure things out. I think everyone kind of went their separate ways. Like, people were asking me, are you all deciding together? But it was individual. It was, what's best for you, what's best for your family. And for me, I love Minnesota. I committed not only the staff, but to the state. And I think for some people, it's a lot different if you're not from here. So for me, it seemed like an easy decision, and I just wanted to put it out there because people were asking me, and it was just a lot. So, I put it out there, and that came with the rest of them. Some of them put it out, some didn't. But at the same time, we all came to the conclusion we wanted to stick it out. And
for the most part, you did keep that freshman 4 together. And then there was some turnover, but now there's also newcomers, and including freshmen now who I'm sure are on campus, and then some transfer players who will have a role on this team for the coming year. So in addition to learning the new system, as you mentioned, learning new teammates. How has that gone so far, and what do you think of the newcomers?
It's been fun. The fun part is everyone wants to be here, and the energy every day in practice. Obviously, that comes a lot from the coaching staff. They're super high on energy, but, everyone wants to be there. Everyone wants to get better. They're constantly looking at us as, like, quote upperclassmen, just to see what to do when we're half the time we don't know what we're doing. But it's been fun to be able to hang out with them and kind of show them the ropes. A lot of them aren't from here. And then some, like Sophie, who's coming back, is from here. And so it's been fun to be able to get to know everybody and just understand, where they came from and just helping propel them forward.
You mentioned that you were in China on the 3-on-3 Team USA junket while some of the rest of this team was going through other workouts. So let's go back to prior to that, as you mentioned, the immediate off season once Coach Dawn was hired and you guys went through some workouts. What were your first impressions once she took over? Maybe even that first team meeting when she got to town. I remember I was at a hockey game. I think I was at the Gopher hockey game, and she came in and was introduced, and I think she mentioned she had just met with you guys, and then she's going back and having dinner. So what was that like?
She really got thrown into the fire. They announced the coach, and then they were like, okay, she's going to be here later today, so we want everyone to meet. So we all met. We were all super early. We were really anxious to meet her, and she just came in and sat us in the locker room, and it was basically just an open Q&A. She was very open from the start, and I think that just builds trust in itself. And just, she told us how it was going to be. She's always straightforward, and I love that about her. But it was just, you could tell the energy, and you could tell she wanted to be there.
And then when you got on the court and had some of those practices, what was the impression there in terms of she's been a guest on this podcast, and it's probably the best gauge I had just in terms of personality, and she seems like someone who would be fun to play for, but also you better be ready to play hard. It seems like, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, even today, we've been working a lot on defense.
You came straight from practice, by the way, to here, right?
Straight from practice, yeah. But we're really defensive focused right now, and so we're going to keep going until we get it right, and she's going to let us know we're going to keep going until we get it right. But it's good. I think we need that, especially being a young team. Pretty inexperienced for the most part. So that's the part that you can always control. And so obviously she's come in and let that be known. And she's also really into fundamentals. And, every day we're starting practice, one-handed finishes. It seems silly, but, it translates. And obviously we trust her enough to go through this every day. But yeah, it's been great. It's a whole new level, and it's been really fun.
Yeah, she talked on this podcast when she was on about, and I don't know what she termed them, but certain pillars that she hangs, that the program's going to be based on certain thing, and one was valuing the possession of the basketball, and that was a struggle last year for this team. Turnovers. Have you noticed some different things that will allow you guys to value the basketball, maybe on a more consistent basis?
She's all about slowing down, but still playing with pace. So it's a fine line, and it's hard to be going full speed. And I think last year we were so ramped up all the time, and at the college level, it's almost better to be slower and under control. And so I think we've learned that a lot. In practice, you have to get under a certain amount of turnovers or you run. So there's different incentives like that really have to keep us accountable.
And then also from that standpoint, she mentioned on this podcast the idea that she wants players who, know the game, know situations, and that she would work on those. And I'm sure once you get into the full workouts, because I think there's limited hours, right, that you guys can do it, that there'll be more of that. But have you noticed that as well, that she even said rules? I want them to know rules, and that this is a situation that, I want all 5 players on the floor to understand that here's where we're at, and if we're out of timeouts, they're going to know I don't need to call a timeout. How much has that been part of this summer?
Well, I think also just the amount of film we watch, and, mid-practice we'll go over to the film, and, she's running over there, so we run and follow, and we'll watch film for a little bit, but she'll be showing us what she wants to see. So we'll see it in a game situation, and then we'll go and we'll execute. And I think that's really helpful just to be able to visually see that and then apply it. But, yeah, I think she's just breaking down a lot of different things. We'll do drill work, and she'll break it down. We'll get into gameplay, and it's like, okay, we just did this. Then you can kind of apply it and be able to move forward with it. So it's just stuff like that. And, today we'll have another film session later. And it's just cool to be able to do this now and not have to wait until, October, whenever.
Yeah. Are you seeing results? Like, do you, in terms of even your personal skill level or knowledge of the game, or feeling like you're progressing? And then do you see it in teammates as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the day that I left, it was still a day by day. I mean, it's honestly drill by drill. It's really inconsistent, but that's kind of expected for right now. But then when I came back, it was like some players were just so much more confident, and you could tell that they were just getting the groove. And even, last week we seemed like a whole new team. So it really is day by day. But we're gonna take it and we're gonna run with it
and go from there. So this group of freshmen that came in, the four of you, you stayed together, you stayed here, you guys are close. How have you guys handled this now going from year one into year two? And maybe as you look at the roster and how it's constructed, you're probably going to be asked to be the leaders in year two of this roster, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're right. We're underclassmen, but we're still looked at as upperclassmen, and it seems like the younger girls are looking up to us like we're like 5 years older. I'm like, we're only 1 year apart here.
Right.
So we're still learning too, but it's been fun. Obviously we've got Janae and, Sophie, Maggie are a little older. So they're able to kind of have that aspect, but at the same time, us getting like big minutes last year, that does make a difference. And so us being able to say that we've been through it and we've, been in different sorts of situations that these kids haven't. It's been fun to be able to, kind of teach them, and, they look up to you, and it's fun.
Yeah, and so they get to trail along. That group, all Minnesotans, you mentioned for you it was important to stay committed to the state. How much pride do you take in that, and is that something you guys still talk about in terms of where you want to, go from here with this program? Yeah, and I think we obviously have got a couple more Minnesota girls on the roster now, and I just think it's so important, and I love doing everything like within the community, and just for girls to understand that staying in state is a good thing, and it's a really cool thing to be able to represent your state. And then especially, when I'm playing USA and I'm representing the country, but I'm also representing my state and letting, girls know, and hopefully it inspires somebody to want to do the same thing. Yeah, and as you now represent that home state, you're getting ready for travel. You're getting ready for a lot of stuff within the season. What did you learn from the Big Ten slate? Because that was maybe the best group of teams in the history of the league. I mean, you go back in terms of, you look at Iowa made the finals. Maryland is always good. Indiana was unprecedentedly good, and it looks like those teams are going to be good again. So you guys have to scrap and fight your way to get into the mixer. What did you learn going through that? And I'm missing teams. Michigan is good, and there's others. What did you learn going through that for the first time last year? Yeah, I think for me it really hit pretty hard. I played really well in non-conference, against other teams, but then you get to the Big Ten and it's just like they've scouted you. They know what you're going to do. They know your game in and out. For me, that they always seem to put the stronger guards on me to try to muscle me around. So I think now being aware of that and being able to go to my counter, understanding, okay, if they do this, then I'm going to do this. So being able to being versatile, honestly. Expanding my game in every way, just being able to affect the game. So when an opposing team, and maybe this, as you mentioned, maybe the scouting report is, okay, muscle up, Mara, how do you have to respond? One, I suppose, okay, I'm going to get stronger too, right, a little bit. But two, was it tempting to push back or try to, how do you stay even keel without getting too frustrated, but also not just, giving up? It's exactly right. I mean, there's a fine line, like there's a balance, you want to be able to fight back, but at the same time, for me, like trying to control those emotions, and, maybe I use my quickness and get around them. So it's just understanding my game and feeling more confident in what I'm doing. So if they want to body up and be all physical, then I'm just going to go around you. So it's just things like that, just knowing, and the coaches have really helped me with that too. You mentioned Sophie Hart. She's from Farmington, Minnesota, started her career at North Carolina State. She's back 6'5". I have a special interest in her too. Her parents and I went to the same high school. Her dad and I went to the same college, actually. He's a track and field coach at Farmington. So how has she mixed in, and what do you think her contributions will be? She's been looking great. It's just been really fun to play with her and play off of her.
They've had us together a lot this summer and just getting that chemistry. She's a really good screener. Obviously, you said 6'5", so I love getting the ball in, and she's been really good about knowing when to score, knowing when to kick it out. So it's been fun to get to play with her and get to know her. She's a really good leader, also really vocal. She'll do everything off the court too. She loves to hang out with everyone, so it's been fun to have her here.
Yeah, and 6'5", I know just knowing her parents, they were both very athletic, great athletes, both played college level. Her dad was a track, and it was a good basketball player too. And her mom was a good high school and college basketball player. So is there some athleticism there with the height to go with it?
Yeah, I mean, she can move, and you may look at her and you're like, what are we going to get? But she can, and she'll get up and down the floor, and, she'll scream at us. And when she's rim running, she'll be like, give me the ball. So, it's been fun. She's fiery, and it's a good mix.
Yeah, that's good, right? To have a big that's demanding of the ball.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Nothing wrong with that for sure. Let me quickly get a word in from one of our sponsors here. Affinity Plus is your local credit union, proudly serving Minnesota since 1930. If you're a current Gopher student or a proud Gopher alum, you're eligible to join this financial that wants to build a meaningful banking relationship and put you first. You could meet with a local employee at any of their branches statewide, including one right here near campus in Minneapolis. To learn more or find other ways to connect, here's the webpage, affinityplus.org/GoGophers. That's affinityplus.org/GoGophers. Affinity Plus, Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. We thank them for their support of Gopher athletics and their support of our Go Gopher podcast. It's episode 82. Mara Braun is with us. There's a couple of highlight games on the schedule. I know a lot of people are talking about that UConn game. Paige Beckers is healthy, it sounds like. I'm sure you've played against her in the past. How do you view that game? Are you excited about that game?
I think it's a great opportunity, to potentially get the barn pretty packed. Everyone, honestly, I don't even care if they're coming to watch Paige. Like, you're getting people in the barn, and we'll fight. We'll do our best. Coach P will prepare us, and if we go out there and we compete, I think that'll really attract people and bring them back.
And Caitlin Clark kind of captured the attention of the country when her and the Hawkeyes made that run to the championship game, a game that they turned out to be a favorite in, and then LSU hit all kinds of threes, and before you knew it, it was LSU winning the national title. But Caitlin Clark will be coming to the barn. She has been here now a few times, so it's nothing new. But my guess is that game will have a little extra hype as well. You played against that team twice last year. What do you take from it, and how do you view that game? We don't have the date on that yet. I know it's November 19th for UConn because the non-conference schedule's set, but when Caitlin Clark comes to town.
That's another one. I mean, people are going to come and people want to see it in person, and it's just a good opportunity, again, for us to be able to, showcase what we can do and maybe turn a few heads. And like I said, just go out there and compete, and whatever happens, happens, and we'll grow from it in either way. But it's just fun to be able to have players like that that are just continuing to elevate the game for women's sports, and it's just a really good platform, and for her to be here and playing on the barn floor and things like that. Same with Paige. It's a good opportunity. What
did you think when you played last year against Iowa in regard to her skill level and how she played? I heard Lindsay, I think, was on. She's now talked a few different things, and she's like she's just so fast. Mm-hmm. It kind of shocks you the first few times. Do you have a better idea now of maybe, like you say, maybe you go out and win that game, and then all of a sudden, boom, stuff starts feeding here too.
Yeah. No, she's a really good player. I mean, obviously, she puts up the numbers she does. She has to be a good player. But it's really in person. She's just always moving, and she knows how to change speed, and she knows when to burst and when to kind of slow down and get you up a little bit and then go again. So she's definitely a player that you can learn from, you can watch. She plays – there's a lot of similarities with Steph Curry. I love watching him play too. So it's another thing where you can just learn and be able to apply it to your own game. She's
obviously a good shooter. I think that's where it kind of captured some people's imagination. She was, as you mentioned, she was making these Steph Curry, 30-footers. My hunch is there's a lot of women in college basketball that can make those shots. but their coaches might not say,
She's got the
you're
green light.
She has the ultimate green light, and rightfully so, right? Because it does. It
Exactly.
energizes everybody. They're probably going to be sold out on their home floor all year. I mean, it is turned into this. I mean, she had a line. She golfed in some
I saw
event,
that.
and they had a line started at like 5 in the
ridiculous.
morning,
I know.
and then she was at the AAA game in Des Moines. So, it's just it's good for college basketball. It kind of stinks if it's one of your chief rivals having the success. But that said, a rising tide lifts all boats, as they say. So she's got this going for her. I wonder if we'll see more coaches allow their players to showcase that way. Like, yeah, we've got a player that can hit 25, 30 footers as well. And if it comes in the flow of the offense, like some of hers don't even come in the flow of the offense. She's just coming up, stopping and popping from,
I know.
a couple of those against Michigan were like from 40 feet.
I'm like, I just wonder what goes through her head. She just, and the thing is they go in and everyone expects them to go in. And if they don't, it's like a surprise.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. And then, I've heard people say, well, she got 40 because she's a ball hog, and then you're like, well, she had 14 assists or
Exactly.
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, she leads the country in assist as well. And certainly, what was it, Sonano, the center, was one, the beneficiary of her, but two, it worked in reverse because she was so good scoring around the basket, so she would get assists, and so that made it a hard guard. We'll see how that works without Sonano now. So anyway, I didn't want to make it the Caitlin Clark show, but I do think 10 million people watch that championship game. That's just good for college basketball, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. And just continuing to, get people watching, and people wanted to watch that game more than the men's, which you couldn't say, a couple
Right.
years ago. So it is really good. And once, when they finally graduate and, play in the league, then it'll just make the league expand even more
No
too.
doubt. Yeah, because I think the league has to grow team-wise too,
It does.
right? There's got to be more
It
spots.
does.
There's so many good players.
I know.
Somehow that has to be the next step for the WNBA for sure. And then the LSU thing. That game got a little snippy at the end, and there's a pretty good rivalry, and then they got some transfers, and so all of a sudden you've got some storylines coming up for this college women's season.
Yeah, and so Haley Van Heth just committed there, and so she was at the USA trials, and she's actually going to be on the team in Mongolia that will possibly be playing against for gold. So that'll be kind of cool, and it was just cool to be amongst players like her, and Cameron Brink from Stanford was there, and just being able to learn from them. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. You mentioned she came from Louisville, right, and transferred to LSU. So she's going to be on the, is it 23
Yep.
So she's 23. You're on the 21. So there, like you said, there's a chance, and we're going to talk about the Mongolia trip, that you guys could fight it out for gold, which would be awesome.
It
right?
would be cool.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of travel, staying on the Gophers theme here for a moment, you guys, and this was planned prior to Coach Plitzowite coming. I think the previous staff had planned this trip to Greece and Croatia. When does that's coming up, right?
Yeah, we leave Thursday.
So this week.
Yep.
That I didn't know. So
Yeah.
so you've been to China, which again we're going to talk about. You've been learning the new system, the new coaches, and now Thursday you're headed to Greece and Croatia to play some exhibitions. I've been following on Twitter some of these games that these teams have been going. I think was it Arkansas won by 100.
I know.
I think Iowa beat somebody yesterday by 90. And Caitlin Clark scored like 9 points because I'm sure she played 2 minutes.
Exactly.
So who knows what kind of competition you'll get. Yeah. But how important is it, especially when you're talking about a first-year coach and a new coaching staff, you have some newcomers sometimes I think those European trips can really serve a huge purpose to get, even if it's just bonding, whether you beat somebody by 50 or not is irrelevant, just build that chemistry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and alone the flight there and all the travel I've learned within the past month, that alone brings you really close. But I think just being in a different place, getting outside of this small space and being able to be out there and experience new things for everyone, and we're doing it together. I think the basketball part's cool, but I think we're all more excited, honestly, to do the other things and just to hang out with each other and get to know each other better. I think it's a great time, especially with the new staff, just to be able to get to know each other. I think we all have a pretty good grasp right now, but, there's always room to get closer. So
Yeah, and have you done any internet sleuthing in terms of what you might get to see? Croatia is so beautiful. Like, so when I was younger, it was kind of war torn, and they were breaking off, but now it's man. I mean, you just look, and there's some great places to go. Greece, of course. I think you're going to be in Greece as well.
We'll be
Is
in
that-
Athens. Yep.
Athens, yeah. So have you been able to kind of study a little bit of what you're hoping to see?
We have a whole itinerary laid out. So, we only play 3 games. So those days we'll have games, but, we're doing a bike tour, we're doing a boat thing, we're doing, all these other activities, touring the Game of Thrones where that was filmed, and just a lot of things to be able to do outside of basketball and get a little break from that. But just having a good time.
You have been, I'm sure at the high school level, when you're playing that national AAU circuit, you're going to places all over the country in different tournaments. But think about Greece, Croatia, China, coming up, Mongolia. I mean, basketball's taking you around the globe here.
It is. And that's the coolest part. And I think it hasn't fully sunk in. I think once I'm on my way to Mongolia, I'll be like, wow, this is crazy. And I told my mom I want to get a big map and be able to pinpoint places I've been. I think that would be really cool. But if I continue to do this USA thing and just being able to travel the world and play the sport I love, like nothing gets better than that.
Yeah, that's so cool, so cool. So you guys leave Thursday, and that's going to be a fun trip, a valuable trip, and then the Mongolia trip comes up, which we're going to talk about here in a second. I want to talk about another one of our great sponsors. I'm incredibly happy to welcome brand new Gopher podcast partner, Head Flyer Brewing. We introduced them last week on the show as a new sponsor. They've been around, opening in 2017. They've got a cool historic building in northeast Minneapolis, just a mile and a half from the Gopher football stadium. They feature an awesome outdoor patio, plenty of space, a great vibe. Dogs are welcome, big TVs to watch sports, and of course, fantastic craft beer. My favorite, no funny stuff, although picking one is just impossible. So I'd recommend you try also the Strawberry Whip. Yeah, it's a beer, and it's delicious. Head Flyer Brewing open weekdays at 1, weekends at noon, Tuesdays happy hour, Wednesday and Thursday big trivia nights, and a big event coming up this weekend, Saturday, August 19th. It's the Summer Music Festival. They've got funk music, food trucks, and great craft beer. 2 to 10 this Saturday, August 19th. Head Flyer Brewing. It's fun to talk about fun people, and the folks who started Head Flyer Brewing and growing into an amazing place are amazing people. You'll love it. Take a flyer. Go to headflyerbrewing.com to find out more. Head Flyer Brewing, glad to have them on the Go Gopher podcast.
Hi, Gopher fans. Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on lights, we switch TV channels, we switch on the TV. And with the new transfer portal, some college students even switch colleges, which can seem crazy to us diehard fans. But what's not crazy is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, my agency can switch you over so we can start saving today. My team is ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood and show you it is, in fact, easy to switch and save. When you want the real deal, check us out at ChamplinInsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Mara Braun is with us, episode 82. So we've talked about the Gophers and how you've spent your summer that way. You've also spent time in China. Tell me about this 3-on-3. How'd you get involved? You played for Team USA. Who were your teammates? Kind of take me through this and how it all went in China.
Yeah, so I got invited out to the trial. I didn't really know anything about it. Kind of just flew out to Colorado. Went through the trial. It was honestly, I was the youngest one there by a few years. The oldest, I think they were up 29, 30 years old. So I'm learning from
You're what,
that.
19?
Yeah,
So you can't go to Head Flyer Brewing. No. But so you're 19 playing against
Yes.
25 and 28-year-olds.
Yeah, so I mean, going in, it's kind of like, oh shoot, like what's this going to be like? So that had to raise my game at a whole nother level. You know, just the physicality, and it's so fast paced, but they did a great job of also slowing it down. And, you know, for me, I feel I'm a pretty quick learner, so being able to learn the different sets and the different reads, and there's a lot of things flying at you, and a lot of those girls already know what they're doing, and so I'm learning from them at the same time. I'm trying to learn myself, so it was a lot. The coaches were great. Everyone was awesome there, really welcoming. I got pretty close with Leilani there. She's from Penn State, so that was cool to be able to have that connection there, the Big Ten connection. But then, and she She's actually on that 23 team, so I could also see her in Mongolia, which would be pretty fun. But, yep, so I got invited to that. I got a call one day with my mom. They said, all right, you're headed off to China in a month if you want to. So I called up Coach P and got that all figured out. And then they announced the roster, which is a couple girls from Villanova, one from Maryland, and one from Creighton. So we had a good mix of some conference play there. But it was awesome. It was a really good experience. We traveled with the men's team, so we were all there. We got really close. But yeah, I'm excited to go back and see the girls.
What was the adjustment 3-on-3? Had you played a lot of 3-on-3?
Not
because
it's
different, right?
Not the FIBA rules. The FIBA rules, I mean, there's a 12-second shot clock. You're taking the ball out of the net and playing right away. You're rotating 4 people, but it's every dead ball. So you may get a 2-second break. You may get a 30-second break. So you've got to be in shape. I'll tell you that. And I definitely think that that's helped this summer just to maintain that endurance. 3-on-3 is definitely a different sport. You can't take a break ever. Maybe in 5-on-5 you're in that help side and you're kind of taking up, but no, 3-on-3 you'll get exposed. So it's been really good discipline-wise. So it's just learning how to apply that, and when I come back, being able to apply that to the 5-on-5 game.
I talked to Wooker from the volleyball team. She was on a Team USA in the Pan Am or some sort of, and she talked about how it just instinctively helped her confidence. All of a sudden, you're representing the country. Did you find that experience the same?
I think just putting on the official uniform for the first time, it was just a really surreal moment. I mean, for me, representing the country is always something you dream of, and I've always said I want to play in the Olympics. So, maybe this will lead into that someday. But for now, just being able to have USA on your chest, and they always talk about it, USA the gold standard, and you're representing not only yourself, but you're representing this whole country of people. So that's definitely, there's a target on your back going these places because USA has always set the standard. And so it's awesome. It really is.
Yeah. So you had this group, you rotate through, and I think you guys go like 5-1 or something over there?
Yeah, we lost one game. So the way they had it set up was we were supposed to have 6 there, but the 6th player had gotten hurt at her foreign tour, so she couldn't go. But we had 5, so one person sat out each day. So I sat out the first day being the youngest, which was kind of a bummer, but, it worked out. So we lost one game to China, and then I think the next time we played them, we just blew them out because we were, sick of this. But for the most part, we dominated there. It was really fun just to see how the team progressed over the week.
And then, so you get that done. You have success. You have fun. You get in shape. Not that you weren't in shape already, but you learn, in this style of play. And then when you find out I guess what is it, the 3-on-3 FIBA World Championships coming up? How do you find out that your play in China maybe helped qualify you for this team? Is it almost a tryout kind of a thing?
Well, so the team in China, we knew going in that only 4 of the 5 or 4 of the 6 were going to make it to Mongolia. And we also knew that we had to win there in order to go. So the deal is when you go and you qualify at all these different places, the winner of all the stops, they go to Mongolia for the finals. And so it was kind of a waiting game, honestly. And then I got the call a couple days ago that they wanted me to join the team. So that was really exciting. Obviously texted Coach P right away and called my parents. But, yeah, it's really surreal, like I said earlier. And it's been awesome.
Yeah. So that's next month, right?
Yeah, so we get back from Greece the 27th, and then I go to Mongolia the 9th.
The 9th of September. Yeah. And then how long of a tournament is that?
Well, yeah, so this time it's only 2 days of playing. So I'll actually be over there for my birthday. My birthday is the 12th, so that'll be kind of fun. But yep, so I think we play the 13th, 14th maybe, and then it's a quick trip. It's only I think a week or so.
Yeah,
maybe less than a week.
2 days of games. And are the 2 American teams, are they maybe favored? So you'll be hopefully in opposite brackets.
Yeah, I'm not sure honestly. I think there's 2 French, both the France teams, the older and younger, will also be there, and they've always been really good. So it'll definitely be, and the thing is that you can be great 5-on-5, but some of these teams, all they do is 3-on-3, so they really know the ins and outs. They know how to expose you. So that's also something you have to keep in mind, that these players, they might not necessarily be better, but they may be just smarter in the way that they play. And so going in and not taking anyone for granted, just knowing that it's a quick game. It's 10 minutes or to 21, so there's no time to sit there and think that you're going to win it right away.
Yeah. So it goes either the 10 minutes is up and whoever is ahead wins, or you hit 21 before 10 minutes.
Exactly.
And you mentioned the take it out of the net. Is there a time, do you have to take it back outside the 3-point line, like a take back?
Yep. So you have to take it out of the net, and then they can flag you off if you don't you have to get 1 foot outside of the 3-point line. But then, there's the restricted area, and the defender can't go inside of that. So you have a little room to clear it out. And, whether that's a dribble out, whether that's a pass out, it's really up to where the defense is.
I was just thumbing through. I didn't seek it out, but I happened to see there's a men's league I've seen on like Channel 4 the last few weekends. They've had these games. I think Royce White, who's from here, has played on one of those teams, that's what caught my initial attention. I think if they get a turnover, they don't have to take it back. They can just, if they steal it, they can go right up and score. Do you have to take it back on everything?
Yeah. For the most part.
So that might be a little different rule.
Well, and there's so many things going on right now. There are so many different 3-on-3 teams. So, if you don't make one, then you're probably in the pool to make another. So they kind of have that pool of players that they're like, okay, you can go to this, you can't go to this. So they make it so everyone will have an opportunity to play somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot going on that side of the basketball world.
China. So you visited China for this. What did you take from non-basketball? Just the trip. Did you get a chance to do some sightseeing, or was it mostly basketball?
I say it was mostly a business trip.
Yeah.
That's kind of how they operate also. You're there in a different country, but you're there to win. You're there to represent our country. But we had an off day. That's kind of funny. We had an off day, and they were like, okay, we're going to go tour. You're going to see some pretty sacred places in China. Well, they stuck us at the bottom of a big mountain, and it was us and everyone but China. And they were like, all right, go up the mountain. So we it was hot. It was hot there every day. It was like 100 degrees, sun blaring. But we hiked up the mountain.
And these games were outside.
Yeah.
Right?
So we hiked up the mountain, saw some pretty cool things, though. The view was awesome. And just being able to be in a different culture and experience those things, obviously I wouldn't be experiencing that without playing this sport, which is awesome.
Do you think the Team China sent you guys there to tire you out?
I'm not sure, but it was set up by the Chinese government.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what their plan was.
All out here and make them climb a mountain.
I don't know what their plan was, but we still ended up beating them.
Yeah.
So it's all right.
Well, that's good then. So you've learned enough now. Do you watch film? Do you watch 3-on-3 games now? Not just to even watch, but to that makes sense, or just to continue, like you say, so that you kind of catch up to teams who have been doing it for so long.
Yeah, there's always games going on, and people are playing all over the world right now to go to Mongolia, so there's all these different stops. So just watching them and being able to kind of get a grasp on what they do. Every team is a lot different. What Japan does is way different than China or Chile or, whoever else. So everyone has their own type of game plan, and it's interesting to see how they guard us also. But, yeah, when we were there, we watched a ton of film. Our coach, he would be up at all hours clipping, and it's just the dedication for 3-on-3 is, just as much as 5-on-5.
Yeah. So as you get ready for this tournament, obviously you want to win the gold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the
ultimate
goal.
Yep.
So of the group that you played with before, who ended up getting selected? So who are your teammates?
So Lucy and Chris from Villanova, and then Morgan from Creighton.
And then you. So we got Villanova, Creighton, and Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah. So Big East and Big Ten.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then have you gotten close enough that you're like texting these guys or FaceTiming or whatever you might do? However you kids communicate now.
No, I was just talking to Lucy actually. She's been at the beach, and I'm like, hey, when am I going to get invited? So she's like, next summer we'll definitely plan something. But like I said, when you're traveling like that, you almost immediately just get close.
Yeah.
And then playing with each other, you're learning on the fly, and that also brings you closer because everyone's in it together.
Hey, Gopher fans, want to talk to you for a minute about some of our fans out there who are a little like me. Getting to the point in life where you're starting to worry about maybe some wrinkles around your face and your eyes. And you may have heard me mention last week, I just started using this tremendous male skincare product from Caldera Lab. It's a new Go Gopher podcast sponsor. They're a pioneer in the men's skincare game, using proven research to help make men look better and feel more comfortable and confident. I started using their products earlier this month, and I have to say I have noticed a difference in how my skin looks and feels. Tighter and smoother around the eyes and softer everywhere else around my face. I'm using the Regimen package. That includes the Clean Slate, the Base Layer, and the Good. 3 great products. I'm also using the Icon Eye Serum, which fights fine lines, dark circles, and puffiness. Really good results on that. The beauty of it is, for Go Gopher podcast listeners, you can save 20% by using the promo code GOLD, G-O-L-D, when you place an order at CalderaLab.com. 20% with the promo code GOLD, G-O-L-D, CalderaLab.com. You've been to China. You got, as you mentioned, Croatia, Greece, Mongolia. And then you got this Gopher basketball season coming up. You've got Paige Becker's coming to town. Hopefully this whole team can make that next step. I mean, how much do you think that will be? This will be the last couple of questions here. Back to Gopher basketball, that from year 1 to year 2, they always say that maybe that's the most growth players have in college. So where do you think this team can take that step? I mean, just that alone, the maturity and knowing now what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, 1 year under the belt for a majority of us is a big deal. And just, I think Coach P and the staff are going to do a great job of preparing us. You know, we'll go into every game feeling prepared, feeling confident. So it's really up to us for execution and how we're going to execute, and, you know, if we're going to do the little things right, and are we going to, you know, play our absolute hardest 24/7, because we know that you can't take a break at any time. Games are too close. You know, it comes down to one possession. So just understanding they're going to do their everything for us, so we've got to, you know, pay it back.
All right, I got to ask you about your family now to close out. You have your parents, I know, come. They've traveled too, right? Did they go to almost all the
majority
road games?
of them?
Yeah.
Some of them were hard to fly into, but majority of them, yep.
Well, how's that? What's it like to have that kind of support?
I love it. I mean, I stayed here to be able to play in front of them, in front of my grandparents. They all go to almost every game. My brother, he'll bring buddies to the games, and they're really proud, and it makes it that much more fun for me. I mean, they were up at all hours watching me in China. You know, they got up at 4 a.m. Just the dedication and just letting me know that, you know, it's worth it. It's all going to be worth it. And I'm just glad I stayed here, and I'm just glad that they've supported me in the way they do.
Are they going to go to Mongolia?
No, but they're going to Croatia and Greece.
Oh, they are. They're going with the Gopher trip.
Yeah, my parents are, and my brother's staying at home to watch the dogs.
Someone's got to do it. Somebody's got to house sit and dog sit. Well, hey, it's so I appreciate it so much that you spent some time with us. I know you had practice this morning. You got film study today, so to stop in and share your story. And I know you're busy, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's episode 82, Mara Braun.
I hope you enjoyed my visit with a rising star in the women's college basketball world, the Gophers' very own Mara Braun from Wayzata. She's had a busy summer. She'll have a busy fall and winter as well. We appreciate her time on the Go Gopher podcast, episode number 82. What an impressive young lady. We're presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. We're also partnered with Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, a locally member-owned full-service financial invested in you. You can learn more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Cub has joined us as one of our primary sponsors as well in the Go Gopher podcast. Cub is the official grocer of the Gophers. We're thrilled to have them signed up, a great company with great people, and of course stores all over the state. Go to Cub.com to find out all of this week's specials at Cub. Also, welcome aboard to new sponsors Head Flyer Brewing in Northeast Minneapolis, just a mile and a half from the stadium. Stop in for great tasting craft beer tonight. Also, don't forget to use the code word GOLD, G-O-L-D, when you join me in ordering great men's skincare products at CalderaLab.com. Proud to have them with us on the Go Gopher podcast. CalderaLab.com, code word GOLD for 20% off. We're also sponsored by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please be sure to click that subscribe button right now for the Go Gopher podcast. It's free to listen at any time. And please share that link to the podcast with others so they can listen for free as well. We'll talk again next week.